In this video, I want to show how the student would log into Scienteer for the first time and then begin the process of putting their project proposal together in Scienteer. So I'm going to start by logging in. Okay, and I'm going to put in the account that I, as the teacher, created. And then the UT. The password. And then sign in. Okay, and then this just gives the student the opportunity to go in and to make any changes. They can change the password if they wish, change the answer, the email recovery questions. They can also edit their profile picture. There's a nice set of pictures here. I'll choose, let's see, which one do I want? So I have a dog, I'll use that one. Okay. So do that. Okay. So now that we've done this all looks okay. Click Save. Okay, and then the student needs to sign their name here electronically, and then Scienteer will go in and put that signature in to each of the forms that the International Science and Engineering Fair, ISEF, requires in order for the student to participate in the fair. So this is, I'm just going to put just put that. All right, so now the student has signed the account. Okay, so now I want to go to project completion and start the process of putting in information for the project. So the first thing, you get a title for the project. This should be something at least loosely descriptive of what the student is going to do. The student can go back and change this if they want to later. I ask that you please don't put down science fair project or my project or something, but put in something that's somewhat descriptive at least. So I'm going to put in there, and I'm going to make this a animal science project. I'm going to submit. Okay. Now the next is the team status. It is possible to the students to do projects as a team. They can have up to 3 members, and this would be the place basically where the student would begin the process of setting up the team. It is important to keep in mind that the ISEF rules, International Science and Engineering Fair rules, which our region has to abide by and the state science fair has to abide by, says that for team projects, all members of the team have to be there at the fair for the judging interview. If for some reason one of the students can't make it, the project would be disqualified according to the ISEF rules. And this can create some very uncomfortable situations for some students if, say, the state science fair just happens to coincide with a sporting event that one of those 3 students participates in. I would discourage students from doing team projects for this reason, and make sure that they understand, and make sure that the parents understand that if the students work on a project as a team, they have to present as a team. It's important that the parents understand this as well. I've had plenty of times when parents have contacted me very upset that their child couldn't participate in the fair because one of the other members of the team wasn't going to be able to present at the fair, and their child was being penalized for the actions of another student that they had no control over. So it's important that everybody understands what they're getting into at the beginning of the process. So I am not going to do a team project with this, and I'm going to submit. Okay, and now start project date. Okay, again, this needs to be in the future, just as I said before, because the student is going to go through and put together a proposal, and that proposal may need to be signed off on various people before the student begins to do experiments. Okay, and as this tip over here in the corner says, you can change it later if you need to. Okay, and then we select forms. Okay, so these are a series of questions that the student has to answer about what they're planning to do. It is important that the students be scrupulously honest about this. If, say, in the course of working on their project, they're going to work with animals, but they don't actually put in, answer the question correctly that they're going to be working with animals, then that could lead to them being disqualified later. So for here, I'm just going to go through. I am not planning to do any of those, so I'm going to click none of these apply. Oops. No. And then go to the next section. Okay, this is about people. Okay, so none of my project, my student's project is not going to be about people. Okay, and I'm going to click off on this one, that be working with a vertebrate animal, but working homeschool or field. Okay. Okay. And then if the project is a continuation of something that the student did previously, they need to include that. I'm going to say that it has nothing to do with the previous year's research. If it is a continuation project from a previous year, the student may have to upload the abstract that they had from previous year into Scienteer as well. So that needs to be kept on hand, on a file somewhere, in case it needs to be loaded up later. So I'm going to complete the survey. Okay. Okay, now I'm beginning the process of putting together the research plan or the proposal. Okay, and they have very nice, again, laid out in terms of questions that the student should answer as they're going along. These should be as detailed as possible. For this one, I'm not going to put in anything specifically. I'm just going to put in a bunch of gibberish just so that we can move past it. Okay. And again, I'm going to put in this. Okay, materials, chemicals, and balancing concentrations. Again, procedures that will be used. Okay, data analysis. This one I do want to say that it's important to put in as much detail as they can on this. If the student just says, I will construct a graph, that's not really showing a lot of thought. What would be better would be to say, I plan to construct, say, a graph where I plot time on the horizontal axis and the position on the vertical axis, or a bar graph showing the ages of different dogs and the weights of each of the different dogs in various groups. So something that's just more descriptive than just charts and graphs. If there's something that they need to attach to it, this gives them an opportunity to upload something to attachment to it. I don't have an up to attachment to upload, so I'm going to go ahead and save and finish. Okay, and I have finished that. Okay, now because I chose to work with a vertebrate animal, I have these additional questions that need to be answered as well. So the idea is that they need to discuss if there's an alternative to the vertebrate animals and why they have to use a vertebrate animal. So again, this makes the student think about their choice in terms of using vertebrate animals. So again, I'm just going to put in some text. Kind of animal. Again, common name, genus or species. So which is the Latin name. Description of the animal or animals. Okay, where the animal is going to come from, or how they will obtain the animal. What you'll be doing to the animal. If there's going to be any dosages or chemicals being given, I'm going to say not applicable. Now again, if the student is going to be administering drugs or food in particular, they need to specify what that is in this particular place. Minimize pain and discomfort. Okay, where the animal will be kept and how often it will be fed and whatnot. Okay, what will happen when they finish doing the experiment? What will happen to the animal? Okay, any license for, this is wildlife or other certifications. Again, I don't have anything, so I'll go ahead and just save and finish. Okay. Okay, if you need, as it says, this is an important point. If you need to edit your answers, they can go back in on the side here and go back and make changes to it as they need to. Okay, and then the bibliography section. Okay, again, this is the sources. There's some information here. I would encourage students to use a online bibliography generator to generate this using either MLA or APA format. Just because this tends to be could be a rather difficult process for some students, and there are some good online resources for doing this. So for now, and again, I'm just going to put in okay. I believe the State Science Fair requires 5 references. Yeah, 5 sources. Okay, so so they need to have 5. So I need to add a couple more. Okay, so I have my 5 sources. And location, I'm going to be doing this at home, so I don't remember what I said is the home address. So and just set it as home. Okay, notice that if the student is doing something in a regulated research institution, there will be a different form, another form that have to be filled out as well by whoever is in charge of that research institution. But for this, we're doing it at home, so I'm just going to put home. Oops, not what I meant to do. Okay, so I've completed the research locations. Okay, so now I need to get a designated supervisor. This can be a teacher or a parent, depending on the circumstance. The idea is you would send them this. You'd send them to this email address. So I'm going to copy this and paste it. So I can go back and visit it later. Okay. So at this point, the student's project is on hold until the supervisor has gone in and approved the project. So I'm going to stop here, and now we'll take up the designated supervisor if the student needs one.